Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geo-Technology Learning Program. Geo-Technology Production 2020. This is Geography Form 3. In Geography Form 3, there are 7 topics. The first is the structure of the Earth. The second is the forces that affect the Earth. The third is the soil. The fourth is the elemental survey and the map making. The fifth is map reading and the map interpretation. The sixth is photograph reading and interpretation. And the seventh is application of statistics. Let us start with the topic 1. My students, listen very carefully these explanations. And if you take notes, arrange well your notes. Remember to skip one line before writing each title, and 2 or 3 lines before writing the title of another topic. I wish all the best as listening and taking notes. You are welcome. My students, let us start with topic 1. The topic 1 is the structure of the Earth. The structure of the Earth, muundo wa dunia. The structure of the Earth. First of all, we have to know the meaning of the Earth, the meaning of the dunia. What is the Earth? The Earth is the planet that life exists. This is the planet that life exists. Oh, this is the planet that supports the life of living organisms. The dunia. Dunia ni sayari ambayo maisha hupatikana. In the planet that life exists. There are so many planets, but in our solar system there are 80 planets. But the only planet that supports the life of living organisms is the Earth. The Earth is one of 8 planets in the solar system. The Earth is one of 8 planets in the solar system and is the third in chronological order of the planets. The Earth is one of 8 planets and is the third in chronological order of the planet. Dunia ni moja ya sayari 8 katika mfumo jua, na ni sayari ya 3 katika mpangilio wa sayari katika mfumo jua. The Earth is one of 8 planets in the solar system and is the third in the chronological order of the planets. Are we together?
Yes, sir!
101. We have to know the Earth as a system. The Earth as a system is composed into two zones. The Earth as a system is composed into two zones. Mfumo wa dunia. Dunia kama mfumo uliogawanyika katika pande mbili. The Earth as a system is composed into two zones. The first is the outer zone of the Earth, and the second is the inner zone of the Earth. The Earth as a system divided into two zones, the outer zones and the inner zones of the Earth. Dunia kama mfumo ambao umegawanyika katika sehemu kuu mbili, sehemu ya nje ya dunia na sehemu ya ndani ya dunia. Are we together?
Yes, sir!
Are we together?
Yes, sir!
Mwagito.
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
This is the geography. We continue. Now, let us know what is the outer zones of the Earth. What is the outer zone of the Earth? Nini maana ya sehemu ya nje ya dunia? The outer zone of the Earth. This is the outer part of the Earth which divided into different layers. This is the outer part of the Earth which consists of different layers. Hii ni sehemu ya nje ya dunia ambayo imegawanyika katika matabaka mbalimbali. This is the outer part of the Earth which consists of different layers. Are we together?
Yes, sir!
Are we together?
Yes, sir!
Okay. The layers of outer zone of the Earth. The layers of the outer zone of the Earth. There are 5 layers of the outer zone of the Earth. Matabaka ya sehemu ya nje ya dunia. Kuna matabaka 5 ya sehemu ya nje ya dunia. There are 5 layers of the outer zone of the Earth. These layers of the outer zone of the Earth are: the first is Atmosphere. The second is Hydrosphere. The third is Biosphere. The fourth is Lithosphere or Geosphere. And the fifth is Cryosphere. The first one is Atmosphere, tabaka anga. The second is Hydrosphere, tabaka maji. The third is Biosphere, tabaka la viumbe hai, plant and the animal. The fourth is the Lithosphere, tabaka ardhi. And the fifth is Cryosphere, tabaka lenye barafu au sehemu ya dunia iliyofunikwa na barafu. Are we together?
Yes, sir!
Are we together?
Yes, sir!
Okay. And now, let us know the meaning of atmosphere. What is atmosphere? Nini maana ya tabaka anga? The atmosphere. This is a thin layer of gas held to the earth by gravitational force. This is a thin layer of gas held to the earth by gravitational force. Hii Hili ni tabaka jembamba la hewa ambalo limejishikiza katika dunia kwa kani ya uvutano au kwa nguvu ya uvutano. This is a very thin layer held to the earth by gravitational forces. Atmo means air. Atmo means air. And the sphere means layer. Sphere means layer. So, atmosphere is a layer of airs, or atmosphere is a layer of gases. It consists of different layers and elements. The atmosphere consists of different layers and elements. So, this tabaka anga limegawanyika katika matabaka mbalimbali na gesi mbalimbali. Let us see the structure of the atmosphere. The structure or layers of atmosphere. The structure of atmosphere is divided into 5 layers. The structure of atmosphere divided into 5 layers. These layers are: the first is the troposphere. The second is the stratosphere. The third is the Mesosphere. The fourth is the Thermosphere. And the fifth is the Exosphere. There are 5 layers of atmosphere. A is the troposphere. B is the stratosphere. C is Mesosphere. D is Thermosphere. And E is Exosphere. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
One year. Are you getting me? Okay. We continue. Apart from that, we will start with the first layer of atmosphere. This is troposphere. What is troposphere? Troposphere. This is the layer that is nearest to the Earth's surface. This is the layer that is very close to the Earth's surface. Troposphere ni layer au ni tabaka ambalo liko karibu sana na sura ya dunia. This is the layer that is nearest to the Earth's surface. It extends from 0 kilometer to 12 kilometer at the poles and 17 kilometer at the equator. Troposphere extends from 0 kilometer to 12 kilometer at the pole and 17 kilometer at the equator. Hili tabaka liitwalo troposphere lina ukubwa wa kuanzia kilomita 0 mpaka kilomita 12 katika upande wa kusini na kaskazini mwa dunia, na vile vile lina ukubwa wa kilomita 17 kutoka kwenye equator. So, when you stand at the poles, you will travel 12 kilometers to finish this troposphere. And when you stand at the equator, you will travel 17 kilometers to finish the troposphere. This troposphere contains 75% of gases, dust, and water vapor. Troposphere contains 75% of gaseous dust and water vapor, and all weather are occurring in this sphere. Troposphere ina mchanganyiko wa 75% za hewa mbalimbali, vumbi na mvuke wa maji. Vile hali zote za hewa zinatokea katika troposphere. All weather are occurring in this layer. Precipitation, humidity, pressure, sunshine, cloud, all elements of weather are occurring in this layer. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
This layer gets its name from the weather that is constantly changing. This layer gets its name from the weather that is constantly changing. So, tropo means change. When you join this tropo and the sphere, you get troposphere. So troposphere is a layer of change, or is a changing layer. The troposphere is separated by the zone of discontinuity, which is called tropopause. The troposphere is separated by the zone of discontinuity, which is called tropopause. And the tropopause, this is the zone which separates the troposphere and the stratosphere. So, tropopause ni mpaka unaotenganisha troposphere na stratosphere. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Means you. Are we together? Okay, we continue. Apart from troposphere, the second layer of atmosphere is stratosphere. What is the stratosphere? Stratosphere, this is the second layer from the Earth's surface. This is the second layer from the Earth's surface. Hili ni tabaka la pili kutoka kwenye sura ya dunia. It extends from 17 km to 50 km above the Earth's surface. It means that where troposphere ends, the stratosphere starts. We say that troposphere starts from 0 km to 17 km. After that starts stratosphere. So stratosphere extends from 17 km to 50 km above Earth's surface. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
When you go to the sky, you will see these layers. In the lower part of this layer, the temperature is constant. In the lower part of stratosphere, the temperature is constant, is unchangeable. This layer gets its name because it has own sets of layers. This layer gets its name because it has own sets of layers. So, strato means layer. Strat means layer. In the stratosphere, there is ozone layer. In the stratosphere, there is ozone layer. Ozone layer protects the Earth from the ultraviolet radiation from the sun. ozone layer protects the earth, or it acts as an umbrella from which ultraviolet rays from the sun being absorbed there. So ozone layer protects the earth from ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Stratosphere layer is separated from the mesosphere by the zone of discontinuity called stratopause. This layer is separated from the mesosphere by the zone of discontinuity called stratopause. So stratopause, this is a zone of separation between stratosphere and the mesosphere. Stratopause ni ukanda uliotenganisha kati ya stratosphere na mesosphere. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Are we together? Are you getting me? Okay. Now let us know about the ozone layer. What is ozone? Ozone. This is the oxygen's isotope. This means oxygen's isotope. Ozone layer. The ozone layer is a layer of oxygen's isotope. Ozone layer, this is a layer of oxygen's isotope. Ozone layer is located and concentrated in the stratosphere between 25 km and 30 km above the sea level. The ozone layer is located and concentrated in the stratosphere between 25 km and 30 km above the sea level. Ozone layer inapatikana katika tabaka liitwalo stratosphere kati ya kilomita 25 na 30. Liko katikati hapo. It is made up of highly reactive molecules called ozones. Ozone layer is made up of highly reactive molecules which called ozone. So, ozone contains 3 oxygenous atoms. Ozone contains 3 oxygenous atoms. Ozone layer acts as a shield which protects the earth from ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Ozone layer acts as a shield which protects the earth from ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Ozone layer yenyewe inatumika kama kizuizi au blanket ambalo linaizuia dunia isipatwe na miale mikali kutoka kwenye jua. It absorbs about 98% of damaging ultraviolet rays from the sun. The ozone layer absorbs about 98% of damaging ultraviolet rays from the sun. Ozone layer inafyonza ile miale mikali kutoka kwenye jua ambayo ingeweza kufanya uharibifu duniani. Kwa hiyo kazi yake ni kufyonza ile miale mikali kutoka kwenye juu ili isifike dunia. Ozone layer is breaking down because of pollution of the chlorofluorocarbon gases or CFCs. The ozone layer is breaking down because of the gas which known as chlorofluorocarbon. This chlorofluorocarbon gas is known as CFCs. So CFCs is a molecule that contains the elements. CFCs is a molecule that contains the elements. Such elements are like carbon, chlorine, fluorine. CFC. So C means carbon, F fluorine, C chlorine. These are gases or elements that cause the ozone layer to deplete or to distract. These are gases that distract ozone layer. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we continue. CFCs are mostly found in products like refrigerants, air oils, plastic products, and etc. Hizi gesi ambayo inaitwa CFCs au hizi gesi za CFCs mara nyingi zinapatikana katika refrigerants, air oils and plastic products. When CFCs exposed to ultraviolet rays in the atmosphere is breaking down to substances that include chlorine. When CFCs exposed to ultraviolet rays in the atmosphere is breaking down to substances that include chlorine. The chlorine reacts with oxygen isotopes in ozone and support the ozone molecule. The chlorine reacts with oxygen isotope in ozone and support the ozone molecule. So these CFCs are caused by refrigerants, air oils, plastic products, etc. And these CFCs, when they exposed to rays, to strong rays in the atmosphere, is breaking down to substances that include chlorine. And the chlorine reacts with oxygen isotopes in the ozone and support the ozone molecule. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is ozone holes? Ozone holes. These are damaged area in the ozone layer. These are damaged area in the ozone layer. The area near the poles are mostly damaged. The area near the poles are mostly damaged. So ozone holes, yale matundu yaliyopo katika ozone layer, ni sehemu ambazo zimeharibika katika ozone layer. Ni sehemu za ozone layer ambazo zimetoboka. Sasa zimeacha matundu. Sasa hayo matundu ndio yanaitwa ozone hole. And this area which are damaged are mostly found in the poles, North Pole and South Pole of the Earth. Maeneo haya yaliyoharibiwa sana yanapatikana katika upande wa kusini na kaskazini mwa dunia. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we continue. Now let us see the effects of the ozone layer depression, ozone layer destruction. The effect of ozone layer destruction. The first effect is the rise of temperature. The rise of temperature on the earth. Kuongezeka kwa joto duniani. When the ozone layer depresses, it means that those strong rays will pass through the ozone layer and come into the Earth's surface. And these strong rays will cause the increase of temperature on the Earth. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Also, the rise of temperature caused due to the rays from the sun. When they reach on the Earth's surface, they reflect back to the atmosphere. But because the thickness of ozone layer become more deep, those rays which reflected from the Earth do not pass through ozone layer to atmosphere. So this causes the increase of temperature on the Earth, and this is known as global warming. Melting of ice, kuyeyuka kwa barafu. The more temperature increase, the ice will melt. Number 3, rising of sea level, kuongezeka kwa kina cha bahari. And this is caused due to the melting of ice. Barafu inapoyeyuka, maji yanaongezeka. Yale maji yanaenda baharini, bahari inakuwa na kina kirefu. Number 4, spread of diseases, kusambaa au kutokea kwa magonjwa. Diarogapa. You know that the strong rays can cause diseases? Those strong rays can cause diseases such as skin cancer, eye cataract, sunburns, race plants, etc. So the ultraviolet rays is very dangerous in our life. Death and disappearance of some plants and animals. Death and disappearance of some plants and animals. Kufa na kupotea kabisa kwa baadhi ya mimea na wanyama. This is due to the increase of temperature on the Earth's surface. Some of plants and animals will die and disappear forever. My friend, we have to stop depleting ozone layer, because when we will distract this layer, my friend, on this earth it will be like Jahannam. Because we depleting the ozone layer, also the ozone layer will punish us by allowing strong rays from the sun to reach on the earth. Mura! Yes! Do you know that we humans being cause the ozone layer depression through our activities such as industrial activities, transportation. In these activities, there are smoke from the cars, smokes from the factories which have the methane gas. And this methane gas is one of the gas which cause the ozone layer to deplete. My friend, we have to stop using air conditioners, old refrigerators, fire extinguishers, spray guns, etc. in order to reduce the gases which can cause the ozone layer to deplete. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
We have to stop producing these gases: carbon dioxide, methane, and sulfur dioxide, before the nature punishes us. When you go against the nature will punish you. You go against the ozone layer will be depleted and allow the strong layers to punish us. My friend, we have to stop. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we continue. Now, let us see the third layer of the atmosphere. And this is Mesosphere. So, Mesosphere. This is the third layer from the Earth's surface. This is the third layer from the Earth's surface. Hili ni tabaka la tatu kutoka kwenye sura ya dunia kuelekea juu. The word meso means middle. Meso means middle. This layer is located at the middle of atmosphere. This layer is located at the middle of atmosphere. It's located between stratosphere and the thermosphere. So it's a layer which is at the middle of the atmosphere. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It extends between 50 kilometers to 80 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Hili tabaka linaanzia kilomita 50 kutoka kwenye sura ya dunia mpaka kilomita 80. Mesosphere is the coldest zone of the atmosphere. This layer is very cold. Hili tabaka ni tabaka lenye baridi kali kuliko matabaka yote katika anga. The temperature in this layer decreases to negative 90 degrees or 100 degrees at the top of Mesosphere. The temperature falls to negative 90 or 100 degrees at the top of Mesosphere. So it's a very cold layer. This layer having strongest winds nearly 3,000 km per hour. This layer having a strongest wind. Tabaka hili lina upepo mkali uvumao kilomita 3,000 kwa saa. My friend, this is not mchezo. Huu upepo ni mkali vibaya mno. So this layer is coldest zone layer and having a strongest wind nearly 3,000 km per hour. It is separated from Thermosphere by the border which called Mesosphere. Tabaka hili limejitenga au limepakana na tabaka liitwalo Thermosphere kwa mpaka unaoitwa Mesosphere. So the Mesosphere is the zone of discontinuity between the Mesosphere and the Thermosphere. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So, in this layer, there is something known as environmental lapse rate. Environmental lapse rate. So, environmental lapse rate, this is a decrease of temperature with the increase of an altitude. This is the decrease of temperature with the increase of an altitude. It means that when you go higher or above the earth surface, the temperature falls. Jinsi au kwa kadri unavyoenda juu ya anga, joto hupungua. The process of falling of temperature with the increase of an altitude is known as environmental lapse rate. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Mobiba,
Yes.
are you getting me? Okay, we continue. Apart from that, let us see the fourth layer of the atmosphere. The fourth layer of the atmosphere is known as Thermosphere. It's known as what? It's known as Thermosphere. So, what is Thermosphere? Thermosphere is the fourth layer from the Earth's surface. This is the fourth layer from the Earth's surface. It extends from 80 kilometers and more into space to about 700 kilometers. This is the fourth layer, which extends from 8 kilometers and more into space to about 700 kilometers. Hili ni tabaka la 4 na ni tabaka ambalo linaanzia kilomita 80 kutoka juu ya dunia kuendelea juu zaidi mpaka kilomita 700 juu ya sura ya dunia. Thermo means heat. Thermo means heat. This layer has extremely high temperature. The word thermo means joto. Tabaka hili lina joto la hali ya juu sana. This layer has extremely high temperature. The temperature in this layer is about 1500 centigrade. This layer has the temperature of about 1500 centigrade. This layer is the thickest layer of the atmosphere. Tabaka hili ni tabaka pana kati ya matabaka yote katika tabaka anga. In Thermosphere, only the lightest gases such as oxygen, helium and hydrogen are found there. Only the lightest gases, mostly oxygen, helium, and hydrogen are found here. The aurora, the northern lights, and southern lights, and satellites occur in this layer. The aurora and satellites occur in this layer. Aurora means the northern lights and the southern lights. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are we together, one on one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we continue. Also, in this layer, there is another layer within this layer, which is known as Ionosphere. So, Ionosphere is a layer within Thermosphere, which having an electrical charged particles. This is a layer within Thermosphere, which having an electrical charged particles, and it is very important in wireless communication. So, katika tabaka liitwa Thermosphere, kuna tabaka ndani yake linaloitwa Ionosphere. Hili lina chembe-chembe au lina chaji za umeme. So, hizi chaji za umeme ni za muhimu sana katika mawasiliano yasiyotumia wireless communication. So, it's very important in wireless communication. So, we use phone, radio, wireless communication. So, this ionosphere is very important for phones, television, radio, and etc. Thermopoles. This is the zone of separation between thermosphere and exosphere. So, thermopoles ni mpaka au ni ukanda unaotenganisha thermosphere na exosphere. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we continue. Now let us see the fifth layer of the atmosphere. The fifth layer of the atmosphere is known as exosphere. Exosphere. This is the fifth layer from the Earth's surface. Exosphere is the fifth layer from the Earth's surface. Exosphere is the fifth layer of the atmosphere. Exo means outside. Sphere means layer. So, exosphere means the outside layer. Exosphere represents the outermost layer of the Earth's atmosphere. Exosphere represents the outermost layer of the Earth's atmosphere. Exosphere extends from 700 kilometers above the Earth's surface to more than 10,000 kilometers into space. It is starting from 700 kilometers to more than 10,000 kilometers into space. Exosphere ni tabaka la tano kutoka sura ya dunia. Exo maana yake ya nje kabisa. Exo means outside. Exosphere represent the outermost layer of the Earth's atmosphere. Tabaka liitwalo Exosphere linawakilisha tabaka la nje kabisa kutoka katika tabaka la anga. Exosphere extends from 700 km to more than 10,000 km into space. Hili tabaka linaanzia kilomita 700 kutoka kwenye sura ya dunia kuelekea juu mpaka zaidi ya kilomita 10,000. In this layer, atoms and molecules escapes into space. In Exosphere, the atoms and molecules escapes into space, and high altitude satellites orbit our planets. In this layer, atoms and molecules escapes into space, and high altitude satellites orbit our planet. This layer is extremely dark. This layer is very, very dark, and it has not been investigated greatly. This layer ni layer ambayo ina giza nene na vile vile ijafanyiwa uchunguzi sana.
My friend, spiritually we can say that this, it can be the second level, where devil and his demons dwelling there. Break the prayers of the saints. Maybe it can be because of the darkness of this layer. Maybe in the place where the international demons and the devil dwelling, na wanazuia maombi ya watakatifu. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Oga? Are you getting it?
Yes.
Okay, we continue.
Friends, now let us start about the composition of the atmosphere. The components of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is composed of. The atmosphere is composed of. It means that ndani ya tabaka anga kuna vitu mbalimbali. Vitu hivyo ni kama vifuatavyo. Composition of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is composed of, the first is the mixture of different gases. The mixture of different gases, mchanganyiko wa hewa mbalimbali. The mixture of different gases. For instance, nitrogen, which having 70-80%. Oxygen, which having 21%. Argon, which takes 0.009%. Carbon dioxide, which takes 0.03%. Other gases like neon, helium, xenon, kryptons, and etc. In the atmosphere, there is different gases. Such gases are like nitrogen, which takes 78%. Oxygen, which takes 21%. Argon, 0.009%. Carbon dioxide, 0.03%. Other gases like neon, helium, xenon, krypton, and etc. There are so many gases in the air. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The second is water vapor. The second is water vapor. Unyevunyevu wa maji. Huku angani kuna unyevunyevu. The third is ozone layer. Kuna tabaka ambalo linaitwa ozone layer, ambalo linazuia miale mikali ya jua isitufikie duniani. Hilo linaitwa ozone layer. Kwa hiyo katika anga kuna ozone layer. The fourth is the microorganism. These are small organisms which you can't see them with naked eyes. Hivi ni vijidudu vidogo ambavyo huwezi ukaviona kwa kutumia macho yako. Maybe you may use microscope. The fifth is the dust particles. Katika anga kuna vumbi mbalimbali. So in the atmosphere there is mixture of different gases. There is water vapor, there is ozone layer, there is microorganism and dust particles. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Chukudi, are you getting me? Hey, when you go to the air or to the atmosphere, you will meet with these things. The mixture of different gases, the water vapor, ozone layer, the microorganism, and the dust particles. Huh? We continue. Functions of the atmosphere. Functions of the atmosphere. One, the atmosphere having different functions. Kazi ya tabaka anga. The first function is the atmosphere. It acts as an insulator. The atmosphere acts as insulator. It acts as blanket and moderate temperature at night and during the winter. So atmosphere balances the temperature. It acts as a blanket and moderate temperature at night and during the winter. It hinders the long wave radiation to reach on the Earth's surface. So this is one of the function of the atmosphere. It means that inatumika kama kizuizi kinachoweza kuzuia miale mikali kutoka kwenye jua kufika kwenye ardhi. Manake bila kuwepo kwa hiki kizuizi hapa duniani, nadhani ingekuwa ni shida tupu. So atmosphere, it hinders the long wave radiation to reach on the Earth's surface. Number 2, it is a filter. So atmosphere acts as a filter. It filters solar insolation or insulation. It filters solar insulation and prevent ultraviolet rays of a certain length. This atmosphere filters the solar insolation and prevent ultraviolet rays of a certain length. Inatumika kama chujio ambayo inachuja ile miale mikali ya jua ili isiweze kuifikia dunia. Ile miale yenye nguvu ndogo ndio itaruhusiwa kupita kuifikia dunia. Ile miale yenye nguvu zaidi itazuiliwa. So it acts as a chujio ambayo inachuja miale ya jua. Miale mizuri itaruhusiwa kupita. Miale ile yenye miharibifu itazuiliwa. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Number 3, it is a scientific field. The atmosphere acts as a scientific field. This means that atmosphere acts as a scientific field through which the scientific experiments and observations is carried out. This tabaka is act as a field through which scientific experiments and observation is carried out. Kwa hiyo tabaka anga linatumika kama uwanja wa kufanyia tafiti za kisayansi au tafiti mbalimbali za kisayansi. It acts as a field through which scientific experiment and observation is carried out. Number 4, hydrological function. Number 4, hydrology function. Atmosphere acts as a hydrological function. The surface water, evaporations, condensations, and precipitation formation take place in the atmosphere. This means that the surface water, evaporation, condensation, and precipitation formation takes place in the atmosphere. So this is how atmosphere hydrolyze. This is how atmosphere is very important in the hydrological formation. So the surface water, maji yaliyopo katika sura ya dunia, ile prosesi ya mvuke kutoka kwenye maji na ule mgandamizo wa maji na baadaye kutengeneza mvua kunatokea katika tabaka liitwalo anga. So the surface water, evaporation, condensation, precipitation formation takes place in the atmosphere. Number 5, life support function. atmosphere support the life. Some gases, particularly oxygen, are important for living things. My friend, apart from the atmosphere, now let us study the second layer of the outer zone of the Earth. The second layer is Hydrosphere. What is Hydrosphere? Hydro means water. Sphere means layer, so is a layer of water. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Any question?
No, sir.
Biarugaba? Any question? Gosha? Where are you? Gosha? Any question? Oga? Tell me about the basic topic of algebra. Igor, are you there? Tell me. Okay, there are so many questions. If you don't have any question, it means you understood what I told you. So next time, my friend, Pepper, you have a test concerned with this topic. My friend, below 100. Below 100. My friends, pray hard, study hard, and remember, keep learning with Geo-Technology.